Alright fellas, so before this video actually starts, or like I get into the main topic of this, I don't really know how I'm structuring this, and I'm kind of just winging it as I go. So any like points that I may bring up or anything like that, just if you have any questions about like what I'm talking about here, or like anything anything that you're just like kind of confused about, ask any questions down in the comments below. So as the main topic of this video is, I kind of want to start not like a series, but anytime I like feel like recording it, I want to talk about some issues that I really have with this with Pokemon Masters here, and like some improvements that the developers could do in order to actually like fix a lot of these issues and make the game overall more healthy place and just better for the general player base, and probably even better in terms of finances for DNA themselves. So I'm not gonna say it's like a part series, but this is the first video of this quote unquote series, and I want to talk about character reruns. Character reruns are something that have always been really like sporadic in the game. They've never really been set in stone on when a character will rerun. There's never even a general time frame. Like people used to say, like, I don't know, 6 months or something like that is a general good time frame, or like a year or something like that. But honestly, not really anymore, because a lot of people have been like pointing it out. But one of the biggest examples this month is Victor. Victor and Rillaboom dropped in October of 2022 alongside, the fall events and stuff like that. He released alongside Melanie and Gordy as a relation to like a Galar Friends event or something like that. I forget what it's called, but he debuted with that event after so long of not being in the game, right? People were asking him, like, oh, let's get the protagonist. Victor was the last protagonist to be added other than, Paldea and Legends Arceus characters. So, Victor got in, right, in October, and people were thinking, okay, so looking at past reruns, maybe how different characters work and whatnot, Victor be rerunning later. Victor is now rerun is going to be rerunning in the middle of April, the 11th of April, meaning it would have been about 6 months, so about the time frame I mentioned earlier, since his rerun. Now, that's not a problem. Victor's rerun time is great. 6 months, that's a really good time for a unit to rerun and be picked up, right? But I want to look at other units, other characters that have had way worse rerun times. Master Fairs are a big problem with the reruns because of how long they take, but I can understand why they're like that, because they wanted to give them a sense of major, like, limited run times and whatnot, right? So it makes sense that they're not going to rerun for, a year and a half, 2 years after the unit initially runs, right? Because it took nearly 2 years for Leon to rerun, right? Took like a year and a month or two for Archie and Maxie to rerun, I think. I don't quite remember. But Victor here, rerun in 6 months. He's a Pokefair. A Pokefair is the, like, big limited unit, like the big widespread version of limited units. Pokefairs are definitely the, like, most common, I guess, type of, you can say seasonals are more common, but, like, Pokefair is, like, what everybody thinks of when they think of a limited unit. Pokefair was, like, the first big, well, seasonals, again, are the first big one, but Pokefairs are more like, you could just give a character a new alt, like a Signa Suit or whatever, and just release them as a Pokefair, whereas a seasonal has to be related to like a specific event or a, special costume event or something like that, just kind of how DNA does it. Pokefairs are not really limited to that, and they're just, kind of what everybody thinks of when they think of a limited unit. Let's look at Pokefairs. So, as I said, Victor, he dropped in October, and now he is rerunning, in about 2 weeks as of the time of recording and uploading this. Whereas units like Signa Suit Steven, who dropped in July. No, August? When the fuck did the anniversary start again? September? August, I think. Yeah, Steven dropped in August, which you would think, using simple math skills, you would think that maybe Steven would have rerun in February or March. March would have been a great time for him, but he did not. He reran never. He is still not rerun to this day. Signa Suit Brendan and Signa Suit May released around the same time as Steven and rerun far earlier in January on the Select Scout. And then Signa Suit Brendan came back again 2 months later in the double rerun banner with Anniversary May. Speaking of Anniversary May, let's scroll down here to the last year anniversary units. Raihan, Skyla, and May. Raihan rerun a year later during the half anniversary, and May Sorry, May did the same, but later in the month, so about a year for both of them. Skyla, another anniversary character that released alongside Raihan in May, still has not rerun. At all. And there is no signs in the future of her rerunning. Like, there was no... Like, people were thinking maybe she'll get a rerun next month, or maybe they're not rerunning her because they're going to be releasing a unit next month that she may interfere with because she has, like, you know, Flying Zone. That's her big reason to pull for her. And maybe they're going to release another Flying Zone unit, and they don't want Skyla to, you know, maybe hinder their, money making, right? But there is no unit here that, you know, does anything Flying Zone related. There's not even a unit that is anything flying related. The only unit that is anything somewhat flying related, like let me take a look here real quick to make sure I'm not wrong, is Special Costume Steven, who applies flying rebuff if you're facing a flying enemy. That is the only relation to any flying type units that we've had this entire month. That's crazy. And they have just not rerun Anniversary Skyla because of what? Laziness? Forgetting? Just chose not to? Why, right? Another major character was, let's see, when did Bede rerun? Bede. I fucking forget when Bede rerun. Didn't he rerun, like, what, February, I think? It might have been, it was either January or February, I think, that Bede rerun, and he dropped in, what, I think, around June? So about another 6-month date, right? Look at Dojo Gloria. Dojo Gloria dropped in July, I believe. Yeah, July. Still has not rerun. That's even more criminal than Steven. July. That is the 7th month. It is currently the 4th month. We're running up 3 months until a year since Dojo Gloria has not rerun, right? Like, what? Whereas you release Brendan released about 7 months ago, around that general area, right? Let me actually confirm that. 8 months ago. And he's rerun twice. Victor is now rerunning once. Bede has also rerun once, if I remember right. I've actually pulled it up literally right here. Let's see here. Bede Pokefair Scout initial run was, yeah, second run, January. Yeah, he rerun in January, and his initial, that's Bede's Master Fair. Where's Bede? There he is. Yeah, he run in June initially. So yeah, about a 6-month wait for Bede. Whereas units like Anniversary Skyla still have not rerun a year later. Lucas is a big one. Lucas originally ran a little over a year ago quite a bit over a year ago, I guess, in January of 2022. Lucas, to my count, has rerun, I believe, over 3 separate times. I know he obviously rerun in the White Day Scout. He rerun on the main character Scout, and I'm quite certain he rerun in some sort of Pokefair Scout or some other banner in between. I can't really confirm that, but I'm quite certain it happened. Like, I could spend my time going through here, but honestly, it probably just wouldn't be worth it, right? It probably just would not be worth going through here. Like, I would have to look through all of these different scouts, but I'm quite certain Lucas has rerun 3 times. That's weird. And Lear is another one. Hasn't Lear rerun in, like, 3 different Pokefair Scouts, Select Scouts alone? And then he rerun once in a free scout, I think? I think it was once. Yeah, in his own banner during the 3rd anniversary, he rerun from his initial debut, which was what, July or August of 2021, I think. Yeah. Okay. Point being, Pokefair Scouts, especially out of all the limited type of units, are extremely inconsistent in their reruns, and their reruns, honestly, the way that these reruns work is that even though it's a good tactic for making money, people don't want to summon, because look at right now, Victor, people might skip Victor last month, or back in October whenever he first dropped, because of, you know, Fall Iris, Fall Alistair, whatever, right? So, you know, those characters, I honestly forget who else dropped in that month other than the 2 spotlights. But people are now also probably going to skip Victor because Special Costume Steven, Special Costume Shauna, Special Costume Zinnia, Special Costume Lyra. To a lesser extent, Lorelei and Bruno's Variety Scouts. Not really them, but, you know, and then Signature Lusamine and Necrozma. That's a big rerun for a lot of people. A lot of people might want her, right? And because Victor is just not living up to the same hype as these new characters in these Master Fair reruns. You know, it's just not really adding a lot of value to people, right? should I, how am I going to format this? Well, as you can see, I've talked about like how reruns have been really inconsistent. Look at Ingo and Emmett. Ingo and Emmett's rerun was a paid scout on the New Year's banner, I believe. And then they rerun again, when was it? Did they rerun during... Yeah, Ingo... I don't know about Emmett, but I know Ingo got a rerun with Classic Red, or Red and Snorlax, and Diantha. I don't know if Emmett got one, and then they later got another rerun for free of their double banner when their event rerun. So they had a decent number of reruns, but it was also, again, really inconsistent, right? A lot of these characters, especially recently, have had inconsistent reruns. Signasuit Morty and Signasuit Giovanni, they have rerun once during the 3rd anniversary in Select Scouts, and never have since. Signasuit Karina has actually rerun in the New Year's 2023 Select Pokefair Scout, and Dojo Gloria did not. These two characters were released as a pair. Yet Dojo Gloria did not rerun, and Karina did. Likely due to Gloria being as strong as she is, right? But that still is kind of odd to think about. That they're just not rerunning her, or just choosing not to. Tied into the fact that this half anniversary, the 3.5, did not have any Pokefair or seasonal Select Scouts, that turns a lot of the units that could have had a potential rerun, like, gone. Like, they just straight opted to not rerun them. Like, characters that, like Anniversary Skyla, Dojo Gloria, who are some other good examples? Darkrai, Signasuit Cyrus, Classic Elisa. These characters who have not rerun or rerun like only once could have been featured in these Select Scouts, made them a little bit of money, right? Dojo Gloria is a big one. Anniversary Skyla with her Zone is a big one. Signasuit Cyrus with his Sleep Hacks and Zone is another big one. A lot of these characters would have made a lot of, would have made a lot of people summon, but they just decided for some reason to not bring a Select Pokefair Scout or Select Seasonal Scout to the half anniversary, making the reruns for these characters a lot more inconsistent then. Now I want to propose a solution. So I know a lot of people here on this channel obviously do not play Dokkan Battle, but you don't need any prior knowledge in order to get the idea that I'm like talking about, right? Let me pull up some characters. I'm going to pull up this guy, I'm going to pull up his banner, and I want people to, kind of listen to what I'm spitting out here. So, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, it's another gacha game. If you haven't heard of it, it's, just gacha game for Dragon Ball characters. Whatever, right? The way that this game works is that you have the main featured character. Let's say, okay, so a Dokkan Festival here, this is Yamcha's Dokkan Festival. A Dokkan Festival is essentially the same thing as a Pokefair Scout, a limited banner with a limited new character, right? Same sort of gist. Yamcha is that new character. And then he's got, ignoring this guy here, he's got 5 other characters running alongside him that are not in the general pool, and they also have a featured rate. This, in my opinion, is a great solution for Pokemon Masters here to do with these character runs. So, let's take an example here. So, let's look at Signasuit N's Pokefair Scout. So, it was straight up just him, 2% rates, 10%, 10% 10 star, 10% 5-star rate, right? So, just general, straight up Pokefair, right? Nothing crazy about it, whatever. What could have made this banner a lot more valuable for people if they did not like N as a unit is that you can rerun characters alongside of N with a little bit lesser pull rates, but they're in the banner, meaning that people may want to, try to pull for N and grab these characters, right? Like, for example, you have N at a 2% rate. What if you put in characters like, I don't know, let me go to Unova characters just for, the simplicity of keeping it simple. Let's say you had Signasuit N, and then you put in Champion Iris, Ingo, and Emmett in the banner at like 0.5%, 0.75%, or like 1% or something type of pull rates, right? Buffing the 2% featured odds to about 4.55%, right? That would be nice. That would make a lot of these characters' reruns a little bit less inconsistent. It would be really, really good to make a lot of the value of the main character go up, because a lot of people would still summon on the banner even if they did not want the main character, because it's rerunning a potentially valuable character to them. Another far better example, hold on, I'm going to keep it on Pokefair, is, let's see here. Oops. I do not want to go to Alola. Actually, it doesn't even have any Pokefair, so I don't know why I'm stressing. For this Victor rerun, what if you rerun Dojo Gloria Embiid at each like a 0.5% or 0.75% or 1% pull rate, buffing the 2% rates to, up to 3.5 to 4% of a pull rate, and you would have a lot more people summoning because people want Dojo Gloria. Maybe you don't want to directly rerun Dojo Gloria because you feel like that's a way that people would not, really summon for it, but you could rerun her at a lower rate in another banner for another character, and it would make it overall more valuable for a lot of people to summon on, make you more money because people would be summoning on banners for these characters at an even lower rate, and would be giving you more money, right? It makes a lot of sense financially. And it would help a lot with the inconsistency of these characters' reruns and all of that. So, there's that, right? I don't know. Let me think. What if they release a new Pokefair Hoenn unit, like a new... We just got a Zinnia alt, I know. But what about maybe like a new Zinnia and... I don't know. I'd have to think. Zinnia and Shiny Salamence. Does she already have a Salamence? Yes, I don't care. Whatever. Read the fucking channel name. I clearly do not care. But, what they release a new Pokefair, Zinnia, and Shiny Salamence, you could then put Signasuit Steven, Signasuit Brennan, and Signasuit May in the banner, each at a 0.5% pull rate. And even if people don't really care much about Zinnia or Salamence in their kit, they would still be pulling because Signasuit Steven is crazy. Signasuit Brendan's a great support. Signasuit May is a really, really good unit. A lot of these characters are really strong, and they would help buff the value of weaker, newer sync pairs into, be very, very strong sync, very strong, very, very desired banners to summon on. It would make a lot of these kind of dead banners that aren't really too interesting, more appealing to pull for. Like, for example, let me think. I'm not going to say that any of these banners specifically were unappealing, let me just iterate, but for, Emma's run, maybe, I don't know what Emma's sales were, I don't. Maybe people summoned for, but, in order to help Emma out, because Emma's not really the most popular character, I believe, I could be wrong, but I don't think she is, and Crobat is not the most popular Pokemon, Emma probably didn't perform, as well as other units like Signasuit Hilbert or Signasuit Hilda, right? On those type of levels, you could buff her levels of banner value by putting on units like Signasuit Karina in the banner, and you don't even have to put characters that are region, similar. You could put in like Signasuit Cyrus and Signasuit Dawn in there, and just have those three characters in there buffing Emma's value or Emma's banner's value, and making people summon for her because of the reruns of those characters. It would make Emma's banner overall a lot more desirable to pull on. It would make DNA more money because they have these reruns that people want, making a banner really, really valuable. Makes it so people want to summon a lot, right? And you can make it a nice healthy mix of reruns, not having like every time a Hoenn unit drops you rerun Signasuit Steven. No, you can, alternate it out a little bit. You can, you can still make these limited Pokefairs feel more limited, but you can do it in a way that's not extremely inconsistent and extremely unknown, right? Running a new Hoenn Pokefair unit, you could just rerun 3 random Pokefair units on it that have, some decent pull value, and people will probably pull more. And you can rotate it out depending on who's rerun the latest and who you want to, try to save for maybe an upcoming Pokefair Scout, or Select Scout, I mean, in order to, make it so people want to just summon, but also, have more options in their summons, I guess. It may not make a lot of sense, but overall, the point I'm trying to go for here is, like, try to put more limited characters on more banners, even if it's at a lower rate, because that will buff the desire to pull on every individual banner. Another good one is, like, these Spotlight units, or not Spotlight, seasonal units. A lot of these seasonal banners kind of blow. A lot of them really, really do. But if you were to, for example, for Shauna, maybe if instead of rerunning the Tea Party event in like 4 individual parts, you would, put, I don't know, Ingo and Emmett on Special Costume Steven's banner at like a 1% pull rate each, and then put, Lily and Sonia on Special Costume Shauna's banner at a 1% rate each, and rerun the Tea Party event at a little bit earlier of a time. Kind of just making, the value of some of these banners go up tremendously. And leaving a little bit of room for future banners to be put down. Maybe you can rerun more units at once and put out better valued banners and make more money overall. It's kind of a smart idea in my opinion. I mean, obviously I don't have the best ideas, but I mean, work through the kinks, you might get something that works. Overall, one of my main issues with Pokemon Masters is the unit reruns and their consistency. Pokefairs, I feel, really are the major, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like they're the major, you know, participator in this issue. Seasonals have their own problems, but at least you know that if it's a certain time of year, that unit is going to rerun. And Master Fairs, you know they're already rare, so they're less likely to rerun anyway, right? Pokefairs, always been inconsistent. Never have really had a super set time of when they're going to rerun. Like, Signature Leon and Eternatus, don't quote me, but I'm quite certain he has never rerun in a free scout and has rerun like 30,000 times in different Pokefair Select Scouts. Classic Elisa dropped literally a year and 4 months ago, rerun once in a Pokefair Select Scout. Never has rerun for free. Dialga and Lucas has rerun like 3 times in a mixture of Pokefair Select Scouts and free scouts. Think about it, right? I mean, there's just complete inconsistency in Pokefair runs, and we need to find a way to alleviate that while also, you know, maybe proposing a solution that would make DNA more money so they'd be more obligated to, you know, listen to this advice and whatnot. Overall, I just kind of wanted to rant, kind of want to point out some problems that I have with this game, you know, reruns being the big one in my opinion, other than, among other things, of course. But yeah, if you agree with what I'm, you know, speaking about here, if you agree in, like, the effect that reruns are inconsistent, then, you know, talk about it a little bit. If you agree in the fact that they should run, like, as I use it as an example, Dokkan Battle, rerun, you know, multiple units in one banner, then great. If you think there's another solution that you could propose that might be better than mine, I want to hear it. I want to, you know, get some inputs on this. I want to see something that maybe DNA will listen to and will make this a little bit better for everybody. Make DNA more money, give us units that we want rerun. It's a win-win for both, right? But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to conclude it there. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think. I didn't even mean to close out of that. Let me know what you think about Pokefair Scouts and just limited units in general and their run times and their consistency, their inconsistency, and whatnot. I really want to hear your opinions. And I'll see you later.